What is a default judgment in contested divorce? Have you ever wondered what happens when one spouse in a divorce simply does not respond? This situation can lead to something called a default judgment in contested divorce proceedings. A default judgment occurs when one spouse files for divorce, but the other spouse fails to respond or participate in the divorce process within the time set by the court. In a contested divorce, it is common for spouses to disagree on important issues like property division, child custody, or financial support. However, if one spouse ignores the divorce petition, the filing spouse can request the court to enter a default judgment. This means the court will grant the divorce and make decisions on unresolved issues based on the information provided by the spouse who initiated the divorce. The process begins with the filing spouse submitting the divorce complaint and serving the other spouse with the divorce papers. After this, there is usually a waiting period for the other spouse to respond, which is typically around 20 to 30 days. If the other spouse does not respond within this time frame, the filing spouse can ask the court to enter a default judgment. Once the court reviews the case, it may grant the divorce and issue orders regarding property division, child custody, and support based on what the filing spouse has submitted. It is important to note that the absent spouse loses their right to contest the terms of the divorce because they did not engage in the process. There are some important things to keep in mind regarding default judgments. The absent spouse may have a limited time, often up to 6 months, to ask the court to set aside or overturn the default judgment. This can happen if they can show a valid reason, such as not being properly served with the divorce papers or having an excusable reason for their absence. Once a default judgment is entered, the spouse who did not participate loses the chance to influence the divorce terms unless the court allows the case to be reopened. Default judgments are often used when a spouse cannot be located, refuses to cooperate, or deliberately ignores the divorce process. In contested divorce proceedings, a default judgment can make the process quicker for the filing spouse. However, it also carries risks, as the court may make decisions without input from both sides. This could lead to outcomes that do not fully reflect the absent spouse's interests or rights. A default judgment in a contested divorce is a legal ruling granted when one spouse does not respond or participate. This allows the court to finalize the divorce and related matters without the absent spouse's involvement. Understanding this process can help individuals navigate the complexities of divorce and separation more effectively.